Hi, my name is Andrea Costa, and I'm going to be talking to you today about our dual language education class, transform class that I took today with Dr. Bermejillo. So basically, when I logged in for this class or enrolled into this class, I really didn't fully understand the concept of the dual language program. I knew the basics of it. I knew that it takes two teachers, even one teacher, to be able to make sure that the students succeed into this program. So, but this really opened up my eyes and made me realize how much we've come and how much more we need to get to where we need for in order for our students to be successful. I learned a little bit about the history of the dual language program and how it all started back pretty much during World War II, and how we had immigrants from Poland and how they migrated to Chicago, and how only selective schools were only allowed to present the dual language and teach a second language. I think that was phenomenal, and then it just stopped for the longest time because it wasn't accepted. And when they finally opened the doors and they finally allowed to go ahead and teach a dual language class, even then it seemed to me like they were a little bit hush hush about it. What people don't understand is being bilingual is the way of the future. We can't just stick to one language and hope that we're going to be welcomed and hope that everyone's going to adapt to that language, and it's not the case. Nowadays it's a privilege and a blessing to be bilingual. It doesn't matter what two languages you learn, but as long that you're learning. For example, if you decide to take learn Chinese. We've done so much good with the Asian. I know right now with the coronavirus, isn't that the greatest thing in the world? But we're getting resources from China. It's the same thing if you go to Italy, you're learning Italian, and it's just such an honor to be able to do that. So I think for me, that was also the recall of it. That was the blessing thing in the world. I am bilingual. I do speak Spanish. I learned Spanish from my parents. I was never placed in a dual language classroom. When my parents decided to enroll my brother and I, which I'm a twin, my mother didn't make the time frame in order for her to enroll us. So we basically learned Spanish from our parents. And one of the things I did learn, not just from this class, from another class that I am taking, but it does tie into this classroom, is how languages die. And one of the things I learned in the sense is I speak Spanish to my mother, to my elderly family members, my senior citizen family members, and it's strictly Spanish to them. A little bit of English because they do like to practice their English. And however, when I speak Spanish to my mother and my siblings are present, it's strictly Spanish. But when we're just with our siblings, it's nothing but English. We then turn around and speak English to our children. And so therefore I turn around and speak English to my daughter. And my mother, who thankfully is still with us, she does speak Spanish to my daughter. And she has to constantly remind me, remember, you need to keep continuing Spanish with her. You keep continuing Spanish with her. Because if I don't continue Spanish with her, I'm going to kill it. It's not going to be available to us. And it's not going to be available to her for the next generation. And that's that's sad. That's sad to think about it, because Spanish is such a beautiful language. Now, I might not be fluent in Spanish. I can read it barely, and I can write it not so good. But it is a beautiful language. We do go to Mexico quite often, pretty much twice a year if we can. And so it's good to introduce that culture to her. But if I don't continue it and I don't model it and I don't demonstrate it and practice it with my daughter, then chances are when she has children, she's not going to be able to do that unless she enrolls her student into the dual language program or learn it. So I'm not saying that it has to be just Spanish. It can be another language, but I just know Spanish right now. I know for learning the languages, it is kind of hard at an adult age. It's not impossible, but it is kind of hard. But so I would like for her to learn, to broaden her horizon, and know there's absolutely over 7,000 languages out there in the world, and I know 2. So it's important for us to be able to do that. One of the things I also learned is how important leadership affects a dual language program. We have to have strong leaders in the classroom. We have to have strong leaders in our school. We have to have strong leaders in our district, in our state, in our country. And right now, it's really hard to have all that because we're so adapted and so consumed to one test like the STAR test, for example, that we forget that we need to implement, and people are afraid, and people are afraid to enroll students into a dual language program because they think they're gonna fail, or my student's not gonna succeed. And the contrary, research has proven that if a student is in a dual language program, their numbers tend to increase, which is something that's amazing, something I did never really knew. And maybe I knew, I just didn't fully understand how until I started learning and educating myself why it's important to involve your student in the dual language program.